Interestingly, many company leaders identify the need to change, but they then fail to implement this change in their organizations. 70% of the change initiatives, they fail. I think that's a big number, and I want you to do it better. My name is Joachim Benz, and I'm a marketing management specialist teaching at Kiev School of Economics. I'm from Germany and have worked decades in Western, Eastern Europe, as well as South America. My passion is to help company leadership and management, so people like you, to learn and to accelerate their business. Today, I'd like to talk about management, change management, and transformation. I want to thank ГРА В ДОВГУ for this possibility. Talking about change, we need to first understand that people in organizations don't really like to change. Keeping the status quo, so being in their comfort zone, is just the best. But change? Maybe small changes are okay, but we are afraid of big changes. Big changes, this is about leaving our comfort zone and going to the unknown territory. But we are afraid of that. To better implement change, Kotter, who was a professor at the Harvard Business School, developed a concept of 8 steps to implement change successfully. And today, I want to introduce you to these 8 steps. After that, we look at an example of a digital transformation. The 8-step process was first published in 1995 in the Harvard Business Review, and since then it was used intensively all over the world. Research has proven that following the model really helps companies to transform successfully. In general, the model has 3 main phases which come with 8 individual steps. In phase 1, we cover the first 3 steps, and it's about creating a climate for change and getting a shared understanding of the upcoming change or the upcoming transformation. In phase 2, which covers the steps 4, 5, and 6, it's about engaging the employees in the process and enabling the employees to effect change in their departments and their organizations. Phase 3 covers the last 2 steps, and it's about implementing and sustaining change in the organization. But now we shall review each of the 8 steps more detailed. We start at the bottom and then we go up 1 step at a time. Each step is necessary when you want to transform your organization. To give your change initiative best chances of succeeding, you have to take the right actions at each stage and avoid common pitfalls or mistakes. Step 1 is establishing a sense of urgency. Actions needed at this stage. You have to create a crisis or find an unused opportunity in your company. You have to convince the majority of your top management that the status quo is more dangerous than the unknown at the end of the transformation. Pitfalls at this stage. Executives sometimes underestimate how hard it can be to drive people out of their comfort zone. The management may also become paralyzed by the risks they see. A transformation of the organization needs support and the engagement of the CEO and of all other top executives. The step 2 is creating or forming a powerful guiding coalition. Actions needed at this stage. You have to assemble a group or a team with a shared vision and enough power to lead the change effort. You also have to empower them to work in a team outside of their normal hierarchy. Pitfalls at this stage: no prior experience of teamwork at the top level. Top management appoints team leadership to a person without enough power. You need to keep in mind that the group needs enough leadership and enough power to push for change in the organization. Step 3 is developing a change vision. Actions needed at this stage. The team has to create a vision to direct the change effort. The team also has to develop strategies for realizing the vision. Pitfalls at this stage. Presenting a vision that is too complicated or maybe too vague to be communicated in 1 minute. I think you need to be able to communicate the vision in something like 1 minute to get a reaction which indicates understanding and interest. If you don't get it, you need to go back and change your vision. Step 4 is communicating the vision. Actions needed at this stage: use every possible way to communicate the new vision and strategies for achieving it. The vision will be communicated in emails, in meetings, in presentations. It will be communicated everywhere. Teach new behaviors. Lead by example. Executives have to walk the talk. Pitfalls? Emails and announcements are never enough. Actions speak louder than words. You know, nothing undermines a communication program more quickly than inconsistent actions by the leadership team. Step 5 is empowering others to act on the vision. Actions needed at this stage. The guiding coalition has to remove old systems and structures. You need to define the new structure, the new system, and its processes. You have to encourage risk-taking, and people have to come up with non-traditional ideas. You have to realign the incentives and maybe the bonus system. Pitfalls at this stage: failing to remove powerful individuals who resist the change effort and who are actively undermining it. Step 6 is generating short-term wins. Actions needed at this stage. The guiding coalition must define and engineer visible performance improvements. These are the short-term wins. Running a change effort without attention to these short-term wins is extremely risky. They are essentials for further motivating the employees. They show that the new vision is working. Leaders must recognize and reward employees contributing to these improvements and short-term wins. Pitfalls at this stage: failing to score successes early enough. Management is leaving short-term wins to chance. We need to celebrate them to motivate the employees. This is really important. Step 7 is consolidating improvements. Actions needed at this stage: leaders must use increased credibility from the early wins, from the short-term wins, to change the system, the structure, and the policies. They also have to hire and promote and develop dedicated employees who can help them to implement the vision. Pitfalls: celebrating a win is fine, but declaring the war won can be very dangerous. Until the changes think deeply into a company's culture, it might take months or years, depending on the company size. The new processes are fragile, and people might want to switch back to the old system. Step 8 is institutionalize new approaches. Actions needed here: leaders must articulate connections between the new behavior and corporate success. They must show employees how the new procedures, attitudes, and structure have helped to improve the company performance. Pitfalls in this stage: management is not creating a new social norm and shared values which are consistent with the change. And they are promoting people into leadership positions who do not personify the new approach. Let's now review an example of the use of Kotter's 8 steps. Therefore, I take an international FMCG company which 5 years ago was not really investing into digital media at all. At that time, the general manager realized that the environment was changing. Especially young people stopped watching TV. So sales were going down, and the GM got lots of pressure from his headquarters. And so he created a sense of urgency. He outlined to all employees that the company will not survive if they don't start to invest in digital advertising, into social media and e-commerce. For him it was like a sandwich. The GM believed in digital and the young people in the organization also did. But middle management, maybe 70% of the people, didn't. So he created a team, a guiding coalition, with young people and senior managers who were supporting the idea. He gave them enough resources, so basically time and budget, to meet and start working as a change team. The team then developed a vision and declared that by 2022, 25% of the sales shall be done via e-commerce and 50% of the media budget shall be invested into digital. The new vision was communicated via town hall meetings to all employees. It was explained in emails, it was explained in videos coming from the GM, as well as each meeting basically started with reviewing digital. In the past, they were also talking about digital, but it was the last point on the agenda when people were tired and already not paying attention to it. Now they moved it as to the first point in order to underline the importance. Then every single employee was motivated to share his ideas and expertise. The team was meeting with real consumers, young consumers, who explained that they don't have any TV anymore at home, that they watch movies on Netflix, that they heavily use social media. These consumers, they convinced the managers. Then the top management encouraged investments and experiments into digital. When something went wrong, they didn't punish the employee, but they learned from the mistake. They started to celebrate the first wins, these short-term wins. It was the first digital advertising, the first e-commerce sale, the first social media campaign. Having established KPIs, they checked regularly if they are on track. Employees supporting the digital mindset were promoted faster than others. They received bonuses. Employees who were not of support had to leave the company. Last but not least, HR started to hire employees with a digital mindset. Employees received a better digital training, and soon the whole company was in a real digital mindset. Now, a few years after this transformation started, the company is category leader in many of their areas. Here I would like to finish. With my own experience, I can say that these 8 steps really help to implement change. Good luck, and keep in mind, nothing is as constant as change.